If you're an HVAC business owner and you're thinking about what is the right paid media strategy for my business in 2026, let me walk you through it. This is the video for it. We're going to start at the bottom of the marketing funnel. We're going to start with the most likely to convert customers. This is where we start all the campaigns with small budgets. This is where you need to live. And there's basically two avenues to go about this. The first one is local service ads, and your local service ads, they're fairly expensive on a cost per lead basis, but what you get is you get very high intent, you get very good search visibility, and the good thing is they don't rely on your website to be an amazing website to perform well, because local service ads run entirely off your Google business profile. And so if you have a decent amount of reviews and the reviews are good, then local service ads are really an amazing way, and they're a very easy to set up way for you to get in front of customers, to run some paid media. Again, like local service ads, watch 3 YouTube videos on it. Maybe we'll record one day. It's very easy to do. You just have to submit some licensing for verification and make sure that you're authentic. But once that happens, like they're off and running, you can adjust the budget, you can bid on the services that you want and not the services that you don't want. The one thing that's really important with Google local service ads is that you manage the leads and you report back to Google what's a good lead and what's a bad lead, because Google will not charge you for the leads that are not qualified, and it will refine the algorithm so you get better results overall over time. The next item on the list are Google search campaigns. Google search campaigns are very easy to set up. It doesn't take a lot of effort. The one thing that's really important and where you have to start with all things Google ads beyond the local service ads is conversion tracking. You want to make sure that you are tracking your phone calls and your form submissions, and you're feeding that data back to Google so the algorithm knows that these campaigns are performing. If you do not feed data back to Google, there's no chance that Google can know how to optimize the campaigns to deliver results that you want. Now, for conversion tracking, there's one amazing tool for call tracking that's called CallRail. CallRail also has form tracking. And so if you install the CallRail snippets on your website and you install the Google Tag Manager with Sitekit or with a different plugin so it fires correctly, that's the best way to set up conversion tracking. It should probably take like 20-30 minutes. The one thing I will say is if you're not on WordPress, if you're not on Squarespace, if you're on some sort of custom code website, conversion tracking is going to get a lot harder to install, which is why we recommend to all of our clients to switch to a WordPress-based site, which makes it very easy to add functionalities like conversion tracking. And that's how we build websites. After you have installed the conversion tracking, the next thing you want to do in the Google search campaign is you want to set up the ad groups by service. So let's say you do HVAC, you do plumbing, maybe you even do electrical. You want to separate those out so you can target them individually, because there's a different type of seasonality to all those services, and you don't just want to cluster them all into one ad. In those ad groups, you can then now with Google AI very easily generate all the copy for those ads. The one thing I will highlight on those is make yourself stand out. So if you have been in business for 3 generations, mention that. If you're locally owned, mention that. If you're a small business, if you're woman owned, if you have a million reviews, whatever it is that makes you unique, maybe you do same day service, maybe you do a free quote, all that stuff, like put it in there because you want to stand out from the competition, because likely there are other companies also running ads on the same keywords. And while the ranking is important in terms of like who gets chosen first, I think the next piece is really the copy being unique and somehow resonating with the buyers. So spend a little time on that. But Google search campaigns are sort of like the next level. Beyond that, where I would start is a combination of a Google PMax campaign and a campaign on Meta, Meta being Facebook and Instagram. There's a couple of reasons why that combination works really well. The one thing that we can do on Meta really well, as well as on PMax, Performance Max, which is a Google campaign type, is that we can retarget visitors to your website. So let's say people come to your website through a referral, through the Google business profile, through your social media, through organic search, even through like a Google search that is a paid search. They come to your website and maybe they don't take action. And there's a million reasons why they wouldn't take action. They might get interrupted in a moment. They might want to look later on their computer. Again, a million reasons why people fall off the wagon and don't convert right then and there. You want to stay top of mind, and you all have experienced this. Is if you've ever shopped for like Google for a white t-shirt, you get ads for white t-shirts all the time. If you've ever like done any of those things that sort of generate a cookie, meaning like you get tracked somewhere, you do get retargeted. And this is something that local service businesses, especially in New Hampshire, don't do enough. I see that not being utilized enough, and I think there's a lot of value in getting in front of customers over and over and over and over, because eventually you hit them at the right time. And again, for HVAC, I think the most important piece here is when you need to have like emergency plumbing issues, that might not be so useful. But if there's other buying decisions that people have a longer time to consider, so for example, they were doing a mini split install, they're doing an entire overhaul, or they're like in new builds and they need to pick the vendor to build out the entire system, that's when people take usually a little longer to decide, and that's where you want to stay top of mind with retargeting. Now, the best performing creative for both PMax and for Meta, so Instagram and Facebook, is video. And I think the best thing that we can do as local business owners is be in the videos ourselves. You see me here in this video, it's for a reason. And I think it just makes you feel authentic. It makes you feel local. People know that you're in town, that you care about the community. All these things that you talk about on a website is video content is really relevant, because everybody's tired of AI slop. Nobody wants to see another infographic. Like, all of that has been done a million times over, and it's perfectly generic at this point. But people aren't tired of seeing someone talk in a video, because again, we want to be local, we want to be relevant, and if you're with your truck in downtown Manchester and it looks like downtown Manchester and people see that, it resonates with them. The one thing that I will say about Meta and Instagram is they're much higher in the marketing funnel, which means it's much more top of funnel awareness play sometimes, because especially in HVAC where people are very need based and there's a high amount of search intent, Meta is more of a display brand awareness situation. It's very similar to like how your van wraps or your truck wraps function. People see it, they see them over and over and over, and you know, the average consumer needs about 5 to 7 interactions with a brand to actually notice them, and notice them significantly and over time. And so if you think about, maybe you have a billboard, maybe you run a radio ad, maybe you run an ad on Meta, like there's so many different things that you can do. And I think today marketing is really everywhere marketing. You can't just focus on one channel. So if you want to do it right, you want to be on Meta as well as have your vans wrapped. And we have a separate video on that, but that is kind of the very basic advertising structure that we start out with. There's a lot more fun stuff you can do. You can go on different platforms like TikTok. You can run different campaign types. You can connect them all to really build out the funnel and to target the messaging, to hit the right message with the right people at a time. Other videos where we break out exactly how you set up these Google search campaigns and how to do that step by step, so that you can, one, geo-target those New Hampshire customers, and two, you can really build out the funnel across all channels, because again, you want to be the everywhere brand. You want to be top of mind. So when people do have an HVAC issue, when they are thinking about installing some mini splits, when they do have a plumbing problem and it's an emergency situation, they already know this is who I'm calling because I've seen them around and I know they're close by. They must be somewhere around here. That's who you want to be. Especially because sometimes that first call might just be a small service call, but once you have those people in your database, and even if you didn't make so much money on that first call, you can then retarget them and market to them over and over and over and over again, over time, and upsell them, cross-sell them, offer them promotions, get in on their HVAC maintenance. There's so much stuff you can do to increase the customer lifetime value, and that's really a different video entirely. But that first lead, that first contact, that first interaction with a brand where you can impress people by answering the phone quickly, by showing up on time, by having a schedule that allows people to schedule soon and not 3 weeks down the road. If you get all of that right, you might have a customer for life, and that's very, very valuable.